In a world where one woman tries to start a podcast,
How will I ever do this on my own?
she thought she would have to get expensive equipment.
What? I can do all of this on a free app?
She thought she would have to find creation tools all over the internet.
You mean it can all be contained in an app on my phone and computer?
She thought she would have to do all her own distribution.
You mean to tell me this app is going to send it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all those other platforms for me?
She thought she would never make any money.
I don't have to wait for a minimum listenership to monetize?
She thought that she would have to find all kinds of different equipment and pieces.
But I'm going to download this free Anchor app and get started today.
Visit Anchor.fm and download the free Anchor app to be just like her, the ultimate podcaster.
Hello and welcome to the Lou Review. This is Rosa, and today I'm here with Cheryl. She's the CEO of Logic Every Day in downtown Louisville, and she's going to tell us about what it even is. It's a whole lot more than just one thing. But first of all, Cheryl, I'd like to get to know you. Are you from Louisville?
Thank you for having me, Rosa.
Oh.
I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for hosting me in, first of all, this wonderful podcasting-friendly room. We've got this soundproof virtual office that we can record in inside of Logic Every Day. So,
I am not from Louisville.
You're not from Louisville?
No, I'm originally from New Jersey, and but have until about a year and a half ago lived in Denver full time.
Oh.
But today I'm actually moving into my brand new house here in Louisville.
Oh, congratulations!
So I'm really
Oh.
excited.
It can be hard to get a house in this market, so congratulations, you won.
Thank you. My new old house.
Yeah. Well, I won't ask for your address because we're going to make this public. But so, what brought you to Louisville? What did you come here for this job?
That I did. So I've been CEO of Logic Everyday Community for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, though, have been involved in this project for about 6 years.
Oh.
Since the generation of the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I've led the team that has developed what is now 3 Logic locations.
Yeah, this is the third.
This is the third. First was in Champaign, Illinois. Second in Madison, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Louisville's the third. And so when I took this role permanently, I moved last June first to Madison because we opened Madison, Wisconsin in June 2020. And then I was there for 8 months, and then in April came here to Louisville.
Okay.
And I love Louisville, so
Yeah.
since our center of gravity for Logic is here in the Midwest, it made sense to have a permanent place to be, and since
It's just the logical choice.
it's a logical choice. So
Yeah.
So
what
I'm
is
a
this?
permanent resident as of today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what is this? Who had this original concept of Logic Every Day? Where's this coming from?
So Logic Every Day is actually a wholly owned subsidiary of Moose International. Have you ever heard of
You
Moose?
mean like the local Moose Lodge where you have like a bar, but you have to be a member to drink at the bar?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. So Moose International is one of the largest and oldest fraternal orders and service organizations in North America.
Oh.
And so about 6 years ago, a little more than 6 years ago, I sat down with the CEO of Moose International and a couple of other partners, and he said, fraternal orders have been on the decline since the early 90s.
Yeah.
It's a concept that isn't necessarily as relevant to current generations. Now, there's still, Moose has more than 1 million members around North America, and still 800 plus lodges, so they're still active and going strong. But what he said to us is we need to actually, if we're going to be relevant for another 100 years, we have to do something new.
To remodel and
Yeah.
have a new concept.
Don't try to change the lodge structure. What can we do that's new? And why that was important was because all of the proceeds from Moose International and the lodge structure and all of their efforts go to support a school that's about 40 miles west of Chicago called Mooseheart Child City and School, which is a residential campus from infants to through high school for children who have every ability to succeed but don't have the family structure or life structure to support. So they go and live at Mooseheart in family-style homes, get educated, and go on often mostly to college as they make their way through Mooseheart. When they graduate, if they have a B average or better, they get a full 4-year ride to college. If below that, 2-year associates college support. So it's an extraordinary process, and it produces children who are really prepared to, who come out of unstable situations, but really prepared to really be healthy, happy, productive adults. So
what a great program.
It's really extraordinary place. Mooseheart is a really extraordinary place.
Yeah,
And
I'd never heard of this before today. Is it something that they usually only talk about with members?
No, it's it actually takes children in. Originally, it was intended when it was founded in 1913. It was intended for the families of Moose members who were working people. If the wage earner in the family was injured or killed or that kind of thing, the wife and the children could get on a train. They had their own train depot and come for wherever they were in the nation and come to Mooseheart, and the women could teach and sew and keep house and parent, and the children would be educated.
Wow.
So through the 20th century, that opened up more and more to by the 80s and 90s, it was children from all walks of life, all over the nation, sometimes internationally, who would be sponsored by a Moose Lodge and would come in and make their way to Mooseheart. So it's really open to a broad spectrum of children in need.
Yeah.
And
is there also a service for the older generation as well?
Yes.
What we call New Haven?
Moose Haven.
Moose Haven.
Yes.
Okay.
So for Moose members, Moose Haven is in Orange Park, Florida, and it is for Moose members who are, as long as you're a member of the lodge, Loyal Order of the Moose for 15 years or more, you can actually go and turn over whatever it is that you've got, whether it's $10 in a Yugo, and go live at Moose Haven, which is a really beautiful place. As active adult community right on the water in Orange Park, Florida, and rent-free, and they have independent living to assisted living to all the way through end-of-life care. So it's a pretty extraordinary place. You can also live there as in more of a Del Webb style active adult, and as well.
So it's not like a nursing home just for members.
Nope.
It's a whole.
No, it's a whole community. It's a vibrant, thriving community, and so this is where Moose's commitment has been, right?
Wow.
And so they wanted to make sure that they could create a funding engine that would support what they cared about most for the future.
So Moose Lodge International is a nonprofit?
Not-for-profit organization.
And then is Logic Every Day a business under that? Or
Yes.
is it a separate nonprofit? How does that work?
We are a non-profit organization, wholly owned by our parent, not-for-profit organization.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yes. So, so we exist. So, as they said, my CEO said, don't try to change what we've got. We need to do something new. And so we went away and did a whole bunch of work for about a year and boiled down to about 15 seconds. We came back and said, well, what Moose has always cared about, which is helping working people thrive, helping children grow into happy, healthy, productive citizens, and being having a positive impact in any community that we enter, really participating in that community in a really positive way. Those things still matter.
Yeah.
there's very strong values now.
So you need to find something that fits within that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we said was, Moose, the Loyal Order of Moose was really founded and became a working man's club at a time when when we were moving to industrialization at the end of the 19th century. So when there was a sea change in how people worked, where people were moving from a more agricultural landscape into industrialization. So it really stepped in and was very resonant and relevant as people were moving into new forms of working and new forms of living.
And it's evolved over time and included working women as well.
Absolutely. And so now, here we are at another sea change, right? This was about, like I said, about 6 years ago, when we saw this rapid movement of working people into on-demand, independent employment, remote working, and this rise of
pre-pandemic remote working.
What concept pre-pandemic?
You had no idea how relevant you were about to become, did you?
Not at all. And so it was another sea change, right? Another sea change of how people worked. And what we saw, obviously, we did not by any means invent co-working.
No.
Although co-working is still a very new industry.
Would you define that for people who may not know what you're talking about?
Oh, co-working. Of course, co-working is shared workspace where independent professionals and small businesses come together and fundamentally share office space. They not only share office space, but they share services. So if they share support, it
doesn't mean that they're sitting next to each other working together on different businesses, but it's like a co-op to pay for the space.
Yes,
and
sort
the
of.
services.
Yeah,
Right.
you have, what ends up happening is we have independent professionals and small businesses here who have their own offices
that are reserved with their name on the door.
They're their offices. They can move around the furniture and do whatever they want and hang
paint
on
the
walls.
walls.
They can.
In some cases,
They can. We give them a lot of latitude to make it their own. We want them to stay. That's not the only product. We also have individual desks and what we call open co-working. But people come in and they make this it's their office space. They don't rent. It's not a lease. It's actually a membership. And they come in and the intent is that they can focus on what they do best and we do the rest, right? So we make sure that we have really great internet, that we have printers and they can print and the printers are up and running, that we have coffee out 24/7, that we have snacks out, that we're here to greet their guests. So we take care of all of the support services and everything they need so that they can just come in, open the door, and do what they do best and without impediment. Because I think one of the biggest hangups for small businesses is having to worry about, okay, the coffee is on, the printer doesn't work, the internet is down, who's going to greet my guests? I can't afford to hire a receptionist. What does all of that look like? And now, of course, COVID cleanliness, right?
Yes.
So we have a day porter, we have cleaning services, so we're really able to take care of all of that so that they can really just focus on what they do best. We have a workplace concierge team that will take care of. And
I met Justin today. He is on top of things.
Justin will make sure you have.
He was watering the plants. He was watering me. He was like, "Do you want some more water?" I'm like, "Are you the water guy?" And he was like, "I'm the concierge."
That's exactly right.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, what do I do if I have kids, though?
Yes. So one of the interesting things about this, about Logic Everyday Community, is that, as I said, we didn't invent co-working, but what we did do was conceive of the concept of bringing other services alongside co-working. Co-working has broadened, but still tends to be about, younger workers, high tech, that kind of thing. But what we saw was the rise of people who had flexible workspace. right? Because here you can come work 24/7, you have access whenever you want. Not everybody who's a small business, whether they're an entrepreneur or running a small business, works a traditional 9 to 5 anymore. Sometimes it's second. Sometimes you have clients in Japan. Sometimes
you gotta accommodate for different time zones.
Exactly. And so what we saw was work becoming flexible, but the services that came around people not quite as flexible.
Right.
So we saw an opportunity to unite co-working, childcare in a similarly flexible model, food and beverage, restaurant, cafe, and events in one integrated model where people could actually use whatever services they want and change it up tomorrow if they wanted. So the intent is that each business is optimized to be best in class, to be out there competing. If all you do is come here and use co-working, then awesome.
What if I just want a cup of coffee at the Clever Moose Cafe?
People come here all the time. You have coffee. We have great coffee, great lunch options.
It's such a beautiful coffee shop.
Isn't it?
Oh, wow.
And if all you want to do is sit and work on your laptop for 3 hours in the cafe and pay your rent and coffee, we love that. People come and eat in our restaurant, Everyday Kitchen, all the time and don't even know that there's anything else attached.
I mean, because the bourbon bone marrow luge is enough reason to walk in the door.
Oh my gosh.
I did that the other day. It was so much fun. Can't guarantee it's at every everyday location in these other places, but Louisville's got it for now.
Just Louisville
you said for
right
the
now.
fall,
Yep.
right?
Yes, for at least the fall because it's such a hit.
Everyday Kitchen is a great asset in this combination too because it supports the local businesses by buying from the local farmers, right?
That's correct. Everyday Kitchen is our modern farm-to-table comfort food restaurant. Our executive chef, Mike Vita, who runs that food and beverage operation, who is formerly from Proof on Main, and then Tim Quinlan, who's our senior food restaurant manager, formerly of Harvest. So those young men know what they are doing.
Well, let's not forget to give a shout out to Grant Williams.
Oh no, our restaurant manager in charge of our awesome bar menu, which is really we consider that a farm to cocktail menu because we're infusing the bounty of our local farmers not only on the plate but in the glass as well, which is really fun and creative. I think
Grant does a great job with that. So enjoy your shout out, Grant.
Yes. But I'm really proud of them and the kind of attention they're getting. Just freestanding.
They deserve it.
As one of Louisville's best new restaurants, I'm really proud of them, and that's a great example. Some people come in and eat with us, and we want them to, and not even know that anything else is attached, and that's great. But
I pulled up in the parking lot because I usually review food and restaurants, and I'm here for the Clever Moose Cafe. I'm here for the Everyday Kitchen, and I'm like, what is this whole building? And it says Logic Workplace, and there's a kids zone. So thank you for giving some context to what all is going on here.
Yeah, so
because it's a lot more than just one thing.
Yes, and Logic Kids Camp, which is our high quality licensed childcare center, which is attached here, is a full service early childhood education childcare center for children 12 months to 12 years.
Wow.
But one of the great things about it is that it is meant to come alongside co-working in that flexible thinking, how we live today, not how we lived formerly where...
Like you have to be here from 9 to 12.
Yes. Or you have to,
every day, every week.
Or you have to pay for the whole semester, whether you're using it or not. Or if you don't pick up by 5:30, it's $1 a minute for every minute you're late. None of that is how we operate. It is flexible, reliable childcare.
And it goes till 6 p.m., right?
Well, right now, so people can use it on a full-time, part-time, or drop-in basis. So if all you want to do is drop off while you have lunch or go grocery shopping or whatever, or if you want to use this as your full-time or part-time solution, it's completely flexible. You can use it, drop off whenever you want, pick up whenever you want, and then really pay only for what you use. Right now, it's open until I believe 7:30 or 7 to 6 p.m., 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Ultimately, will go to evening hours and Saturdays as well. In its fully realized model, it'll be open evenings and Saturdays as well. But right now, with all of the staffing issues that everyone is wrestling with, and we're on a regular, more daytime schedule, but we will open up and extend those hours soon.
So that's very different than a membership at a gym where you go there and your kids can stay for a couple hours while you're in a class or doing your workout, and then you gotta go. And
people use our child care centers that have nothing to do with the rest. So it's not attached to the co-working membership. If all you do is use...
It's a separate membership in and of itself.
It's not even a membership. You just you can buy a weekly pass, you can buy a bucket of hours, or you can even pay by the hour if you would like. And people come in and use the child care center who are just driving past on their way to work somewhere else sometimes. So we do, of course, have members who do both and who use child care as well. And then we have people who use the child care who work elsewhere.
Right. I mean, childcare is a huge need right now. So.
Childcare is a huge need, and the flexible model really fits how we work today.
A lot of people are going into their office 1 or 2 days a week, and a lot of daycares won't accommodate for that. So, or at least they will accommodate for it, but you pay for the whole week. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, this is a great asset.
And it can change from week to week, right? Because you're not making a long-term commitment. It might be that this week you need full-time care, and next week you only want a couple of days a week, and you can do that a couple of days in the week, and you can change it up every week however you want. So it's a really great model. They're delivering a really high standard of care that competes with the best in the business, but doing it in this flexible model.
Wow,
that is really, I think, pretty groundbreaking and exciting,
and really relevant right now.
Really more relevant than we ever have known. So, and we have easy drop-in spaces dedicated to our kids camp parents. So if they just coming in, they want to just bring their child in and head out, they can do that really easily. And then of course we have event space.
I was about to say, I think that's the only thing we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah.
What else do you have going on in these event spaces?
Well, we actually treat the whole facility as an event space, because we have our co-working space, our cafe, our restaurant, but we also have 2 event spaces upstairs, so we can accommodate events from a 2-person business meeting to 150, 175 party, cocktail hour, that kind of thing.
Like a banquet?
Banquets. Last week we hosted Techstars Startup Week.
Yes.
Upstairs in our loft, which is our biggest event space. We host all kinds of, from large business events, small, medium, and large business events, to all kinds of social events.
Nice.
We've hosted, not in this location yet, but we will, hosted weddings, all of the things around weddings, rehearsal dinners, graduation parties, birthday parties, anniversary parties. So whatever people want to have. What we find is that people really love the creativity of the spaces, which are so different than more traditional event spaces.
Like what?
Like, instead of like a hotel. We had a team in of about 50 last week, and they said, oh, the space is so creative, it's so beautiful, it's so beautifully outfitted, it's everything all the rooms have local art in them.
It's high tech, but then you have that warmth that's more homey, and it's not like walking into something that's all cookie
It's not
cutter.
Like a hotel ballroom or that kind of thing. And they said, that's exactly what they said. They said, we expected a hotel ballroom, and instead we got this really awesome creative space, and then we have lots of different tones to choose from. In terms of our great lawn, which is obviously really open and creative, and it's got a fireplace.
Yeah, and by great lawn, it is an indoor space.
It's an indoor space.
It's like the carpet is green, and it does look it's like sitting out in the garden, but it's climate controlled.
Yes, exactly. Without the
It's like a living room and a garden at the same
exactly
time.
right.
It's kind of how it feels, and like there's a great podcasting space in there
That's
as
correct.
well. But that had a lot more like window room, and I was hoping we could. I'm really glad we were able to use one of the private office spaces because it's less exhibition like where everybody can see you.
Well, there's something for everyone. Everything is super high tech.
Yes.
And we can accommodate whether people need privacy for a meeting or if they want a more open space. But Logic Events is really an exciting part of the business because that activates everything, right? It activates our cool creative spaces. It activates our food and beverage. It sometimes activates our childcare simultaneously. So it becomes a really exciting, Logic really comes to life, firing on all cylinders when we book events. And I know we're going to have a very busy holiday season coming up with holiday parties. I'm really excited about that.
I can see why. But what if it's like a small startup business owner with a kid who wants to use this space, but they're not that profitable yet? Is there an option for them to be able to join in on this?
Absolutely. So the lowest point of entry into Logic Workplace is our open co-working membership. So for one monthly fee, which about $250 a month, they can come. They have full access, every benefit that any member has, even the biggest office holder. They still have 24-hour access, all the coffee they can drink, all of the snacks they can eat, access to our meeting rooms, access to our private phone booths and podcasting booths, whatever they need, full concierge services, all the printing they can print. It's really about less than $7 a day, so less than sitting at Starbucks. It's really nice because it gives people an entry point into a really professional work environment and a really exciting network because you're around other people who are growing businesses and other people who are doing really exciting things. And it's my favorite thing when members say, I just feel smarter here. I feel more productive here. I get more done.
And you're inspired by the person that you see working across the room and
or you
what they're doing.
Meet people who you never would have met.
Right. I met a really interesting person just drinking some coffee out there in the coffee shop, and it's a very conversation fostering environment.
It totally is.
Yeah.
And so you can have your private space or you can connect. Yeah. So it's really exciting to be able to do that. We actually even have lower entry-level rates for people who are university connected. So if you're either student, faculty, at staff at any of our higher education institutions, you can come in at an even lower price point. And even one of the exciting things about, I think, this co-working model is that anybody, whether you're running an office, just coming in as an open coworker, have your own dedicated desk, which is it's in an open space, but it's your space. There's no long-term commitments you have to make. So it's still monthly. So if you want, say you're that entrepreneur who wants to come in as an open coworker, but your business starts to grow. You're like, gosh, I could really use some private space. We can transition to a private office. Say you're a bigger company, and you want to scale down a bit. Maybe people are working at home. Well, we like that shift. So it allows you to adapt to whatever your business conditions are now because it's so hard for any business person, especially small business people, to go in and sign a traditional lease where they want you to make a 4 or 5 year commitment. Who knows what that's going to look like?
Never mind the monthly overhead of renting the building and paying the utility bills for that building and the taxes and whatever else.
And the Spectrum cable coming in or whatever your provider is.
Yeah, you don't even have to pay for business internet because it's included in the membership.
No, it's all fiber internet included in the membership. All the technology, in terms of meeting room projection, and we have what we call rooms, video conference rooms, so you can come in and plug into a monitor, plug into a camera, got a gorgeous ring light, you don't have to worry about any of those things.
Your eyes will be glowing.
We try to think of everything. And if members think of things that they'd like to see that we haven't thought of, we'll usually make it happen.
That is just so exciting. I was just blown away because I was invited to come to the coffee house and found this treasure. And you opened this location just in
April
of this year, in 2021.
Two of our locations have opened in the middle of COVID.
I mean, but literally there was never a better time for this concept.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Like,
even with, obviously it's been a forward-thinking concept of bringing these elements together.
It was coming. It's just COVID, accelerated the process.
Yes, and so we've been flexible in how people want to use this, because even how people are using co-working, how they're using childcare, how they're using food and beverage, how they're hosting events, is all different than it was even 2 years ago. Yeah. And so one of the great things about the model is it's built to be flexible, and it's built for people to plug into however they want, and we can really adapt and shift. And it's really exciting to be able to bring things together that otherwise usually don't go together.
But they need to.
Yeah, and I think we're only at the beginning of. Every day we discover new ways that people want to use us, or that we can serve and really take the friction out of people's lives. That's really what we're here to do. And life is tough enough right now.
Right.
If we can take away that friction, whether it's providing a really great dinner experience, or the perfect cup of coffee, or just as your head's down and you're like, I'm hungry and I wish somebody would bring me food,
and then you've got a great snack bar in here for these members.
Well, and also they can order what we call direct to desk service, so they can place an order and get food service, coffee service if they're here in the evening.
From the restaurants here?
From the restaurants, right to their desk, right to a conference room. So one of the reasons our members love us here in the co-working space is because they can have their events right here. If they're hosting events for their clients, our favorite job is making them look great in front of their clients.
Oh my gosh.
So
I bet that happens too. That's really impressive.
That's what we're here for. And they don't have to worry about if the coffee's hot, or if the tech is working, or if there's calling in lunch from outside, or making sure there's, we can make sure there's a nice
Can the
pastry
DoorDash
spread.
Driver find you?
Yes, exactly.
They know what room you're in because they work here.
And we don't have to, we take that burden off, right?
Wow, that is tremendous.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And our members usually get the first sneak peek at when Chef is trialing new food.
Oh, you were sucking me in here. Stop it. Okay. All right. That was amazing. I might feel a little bit on overload right now, and all the goodness. And I knew some of it before it came. But thank you so much for sitting down with me today, Cheryl.
I would encourage anyone, most people come in because they have one need. They have a childcare need, they're hungry. One of the best ways to come in is to have dinner at Everyday Kitchen, stop by Clever Moose Cafe for a coffee, and just ask to
take pictures with one of the murals, or all of the murals, probably.
Well, all of the art, one of the ways we give back in the community is all of the art you will see in the space has been commissioned or curated all from local Louisville area artists.
Yes.
It's a big part of our community of artists program is a big part of our give back program. And one of the ways that we indicate when we go into any community that we're really here to participate in the community. So come in, ask for a look-see at our artist work around, whatever you'd like. It's easy to dip your toe in.
Have the art gallery experience.
Exactly.
Where you just walk through and the whole thing is like an experience from top to bottom.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We'll happily let you take bite-sized tastes of Logic. We're really, really proud and really excited to be here in Louisville.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you again. And if you have not been here before, what's the address here again?
552 East Market Street. We are in a building called the Gateway to Nulu, right on the corner of Market Street and Hancock, right before you drive under the bridge through downtown.
That's right. And so come on by and check it out. You know all the different options now. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.